Guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Pride Month and I thought it might be a fun idea to talk about what it's like being bisexual. Coming out video. I have a lot of thoughts on this subject. It's gonna be a fun little discussion. No ramen this time though, so technically not a ramen rant. Wasn't sure if I ever wanted to do this kind of video because coming out is almost becoming outdated. It's kind of like you're different and you have to like explain to the people in your life, but in reality I think more and more these days it's just a lot more normal and you just kind of date who you want to date and you don't really need to explain or come out to people. It's really up to the individual person what they want to do. I know that I came out, all my close friends saw it coming, I guess you could say. It wasn't really that much of a surprise to really anybody in my life. It was all very like, oh okay, like that's cool, thanks for sharing. When I told my family, they were very chill about it. It was almost anticlimactic. And I think it would have been different if I was gay, because if I date anyone, it's gonna be a girl. If I marry someone, it's gonna be a girl. But because I'm bi, I still could be like in a straight relationship. So everyone was really supportive. Actually, I think the biggest shock when I came out was how many other people were also queer that I didn't know. It was really nice actually to talk to them and be like, oh my god, like I can't believe that, like I didn't know. A lot of my friends are also queer. It's become a point where I forget that there are straight people. It surprises me sometimes because my automatic default for people now is that they're bi. I don't know if that's just like me projecting. I just assume that everyone is a little bit bi until they tell me that they're not. Yeah, I don't know if that's like bad or anything, but yeah, if I don't really know your sexuality, put you into this gray zone. I don't want to assume that everyone is straight. Where should I start on this journey? It's really confusing in the sense that you know that you're attracted to like the heteronormative standards, but then there's this other little thing that's like, oh, well maybe you're also attracted to girls. Well, am I gay then? But like, no, I'm not gay obviously because I like guys. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of decrediting yourself. For me, it definitely started around middle school when I started kind of figuring things out, but I didn't fully accept anything till I think last year. I've always appreciated both sexes. There was a girl in my little group in summer camp, definitely had a crush on her. I didn't really know how to react. I was like, oh well, I definitely think of her as just a friend and I definitely just like her company, and that's just like what I was telling myself. One time we were walking next to each other. In my mind I was like, oh, what if we held hands? And then I just like stopped myself and I was like, wait, what are these thoughts? That was definitely the moment where I realized something's not quite what I thought. Spent the next 3 years just taking a lot of am I bi quizzes. I had a couple other crushes on girls, nothing anything major. I was still very much, oh no, like I'm straight, I just, you know, appreciate the attractiveness of girls, but I'm straight, yeah, I'm straight. Something that really opened up some doors for me was when I learned more about how sexuality is a spectrum rather than 50-50 boys girls or like 100% girls or 100% boys. And when I learned that it was more of a spectrum, oh, you can be 20% girls, 80% guys, 30% guys, 70% girls, whatever your preference is. I was never, I like guys 50% and girls 50%. I don't think it's ever been equal. I guess you could say I have a preference towards guys, but I don't know if that's from me or if that's just because we've been raised in this society where that's normal and frankly easier. And I mean easier by the standpoint of no one's gonna question it. So my preference for girls has definitely like increased as I've been exposed to more LGBT media. If all you're watching is heteronormative straight media, you kind of get a gist of what's supposed to happen, what the interactions are supposed to be like, what you should expect. So when it came to girls, it was like there was no standard of what should happen. It was all very confusing and I had no idea where to even start. For my sociology class, I had to write a paper on intersectionality. And I wrote that about my sexuality, how my race and gender played into that. I feel fortunate that I'm a girl and bisexual because being a guy and bisexual is a lot harder from the standpoint of stigmas. A lot of people think that guys can't be bi for some reason. I don't know why. You should never invalidate someone else's sexuality because of your perception of them. It's theirs, you know, it's not yours. You don't get to have input in that. It made me thankful that I was a girl, even though being a girl and bi is fetishized. It also talked about financial privilege and how that also impacts how my sexuality is perceived by those around me. I haven't personally experienced homophobia or biphobia. Not that that many people besides my close friends and family know, except now I guess, you know, the whole internet knows. Yeah, so I'm sure you've probably heard of the term bi-curious. There were a lot of queer people on like TikTok and other social media platforms that were very biphobic because they were kind of sick of people coming up to them and saying they were bi-curious, and then it turns out that they're straight. And it was kind of sad to see all these people, especially people from the LGBT community, saying how tired they were. And I do understand from their viewpoint. If I was gay and I had a bunch of girls coming up and saying they're bi-curious, but it turns out they're all actually straight and I was just like an experiment to them, I would be hurt by that. But I don't think it's right to like go online and talk about how bi-curious isn't a thing, how like you hate people who are bi-curious because it's biphobic to the people who are struggling to figure out their sexuality. Invalidating yourself, which is something I did for a very long time, and I made excuses for my sexuality. It's very exhausting and draining. The like constant re-evaluating, not that labels are really necessary at any point. If you're watching this and you're kind of at that point, I would just say like who you like, love who you love. That sounds cheesy, but it's true. And you'll be fine. You don't need to label yourself or put yourself in a category. I know a lot of people really hate labels. I found comfort in mine once I was able to be I'm bisexual. It felt like a pass. Like I have my pass into this community now and I can feel comfortable and express myself in this way, and I have these peers around me who are similar and we can all, you know, jam out together. There's definitely a lot of reasons why labels aren't needed, but at the same time, like it helps you form a community. So it's really a personal decision. Everything about this is a very personal decision. That's why you shouldn't stress about it. Everything is up to you. After that period of questioning my sexuality and finally coming to a conclusion, that felt like such a relief to be able to fully be myself now, not having to censor or water down anything that I say, like, oh yeah, like she's cute or she's hot. And before I didn't really feel like I could say that, but now I do. It would be nice to get more representation in the media for bisexuals. A lot of times if it's LGBTQ, it more focuses on a straight relationship, and then the gay relationship is kind of the end game, and the straight relationship is treated kind of like as a placeholder before that. And there's not really room for any of the spectrum stuff I was talking about earlier. A show that does this very well is Legend of Korra. Coming back to my Avatar Last Airbender roots, Asami and Korra both date Mako, and in the end they date each other. So messy. People might look at them at the end, because in the end it's their relationship, and be like, oh yeah, Korra and Asami are gay. Mako was just like them having to figure out that they were gay. In reality, it's more of they both really liked Mako. They're both just bi. In the end, I'm really happy that I decided to come out. I'm really happy that I'm at a place right now where I feel very comfortable with my sexuality, and I'm excited for college and the future and whatever relationships that might bring. This subject is very personal for a lot of people, and the reason why I'm putting it out there is because I think these videos sometimes help people who are struggling, trying to figure out what their sexuality is, or just need to see someone who represents them online. That's a big deal. I remember when I was younger and watching a lot of coming out videos. I don't know, it's comforting to know that there's other people in similar situations. But yeah, so happy Pride Month. I wish you all the best luck on all your romantic endeavors. Bye!